Lynette. Thank you so
Kristen.
much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Everyone, this is Lynette Brooks. She's joining us for our Monday check-in. Lynette is amazing. She's an amazing insurance woman and a good friend. And I'm so happy she's a member of the Women's Chamber. She helps me with my insurance and can't wait to talk to you today and hear your stories. Do you want to just start out by telling our members who you are, what you do, a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm from Denver, Colorado, and by way of being away for about 15 years, I was a flight attendant and I worked with General Motors for 10 years. And there was the big layoff. I don't know if you remember that piece back in 2010, I do believe it was. And I thought, you know what, I'll come home to Denver, Colorado and work with my natural networking group and start a business on my own. And so 10 years ago, I started my insurance business, and originally it was a captive business with only one carrier, but then I thought, why not become a broker and be able to assist my clients even further by helping them with transitioning to a different carrier if things weren't good with the one. So it's a win-win situation, and I've completely reinvented myself to be able to, I guess, be layoff free.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, you know, we talked earlier about how, you know, we both just turned 50. And, you know, that's got kind of a stigma in the workplace, right? I mean, as a woman, we wish that ageism didn't exist, but it really does. And, you know, it comes with its own challenges. And,
Absolutely.
you know, I just think that you reinventing yourself, you know, it's one of those things where you control your future. And, you know, certainly something that I think about, and I know a lot of us women think about, it's one of the reasons why we start our own businesses, because we are in control of our future. We are in control of what we make, what we earn. So I'm really excited.
Is what you get back.
Yeah. And I'm excited to talk to you today because that's really resonating with me, right? Like I'm 50 and I get to be in a position where I help pave the way for other women to have choices to do whatever they want, no matter their age, no matter their background. And so I'm excited for you to share your story with us today because you took control of your future. And so I think our members need to hear a little bit about, you know, some of your stories. So with that, let's kind of go into our question. Tell our members about a time that you've persevered. Maybe it's a time at General Motors or after. Kind of walk us through a time that you've persevered and how you got through it.
Well, truly, it was during that transition period where I was transitioning from General Motors to building my own business. And my father, he had his own skycapping business at actually Stapleton Airport when you know, back in the day. And at this point, I took from him what I saw, and I was able to sink everything into rebuilding myself, basically. And what you need to do is just basically, because I'd never run my own business before, but I knew that towards the end of my tenure at General Motors, I knew that I could be a better me. But it was a blessing in disguise because something was going to have to force me out of that realm.
Right.
Because there's all these carrots along the way that say, oh, you know, you could stay, you're gonna get another bonus, or you're gonna get you know, extra vacation this year, or so on and so forth. So it really was a blessing in disguise where I thought, okay, don't look at this as getting served lemons, make some lemonade, right? So I moved back to Denver. That was the most difficult challenge in my life. I had a 3-year-old. I had to separate from my husband at the time.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
It was tough. It was tough. He
stayed
with General Motors, and he is actually still with General Motors, but he was able to get relocated here. However, at the time, separate and like build my business in my natural market where I had high school friends, where I had people I could, you know, lean on a little harder, family and so forth. Kept persevering. I literally had to go on unemployment I mean, and there's a stigma with that.
I
You
know. And
think
so many people are going through that right now,
right now,
right? Like it's so
absolutely,
hard.
it is extraordinarily difficult to reckon with yourself that it is you who's going through this tough time. And so, building my business and reaching out, of course, with General Motors, I connected with the dealerships quite well. It was home for me. So what I did was, what my major marketing piece at the time was, approaching the dealerships. I'd take them pizza. I'd approach the sales guys. Hey, I know that you have people who come through here and need insurance. Okay, so I'm your person, and I just, they say it takes 8 times to
Yeah.
appear
Right.
before someone, and then they start to think of you front of mind. So at that point, it was a couple of years of actually building that piece. And let's face it, I mean, sometimes from some of the dealerships that you can filter out some of the people who, the clients who are going to be on for a week or two. Let's just put
Yeah.
it like that. As
Right.
opposed to the clients who are going to, be with you because you are who you are, not necessarily because of price per se. So with that said, it was an influx of clientele, and slowly but surely I was able to keep quality clientele, and people like yourself. I appreciate you so much,
Oh
Kristen.
my gosh. It's interesting, Lynette, because I feel like women possess this even sometimes more than men. I want to do business with people I know and love and enjoy their company, and that I want to help and that I want to see grow. And I think, men possess that quality too, but I think women really want close relationships. And I think
Absolutely.
as soon as we understand that and embrace it, and then really put ourselves out there and we're vulnerable, you're always successful, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, people are doing business with me because they know me. They want to do business with me. It's not the
Absolutely.
product. It's not that's our unique skill set as women. So you put it out there and it worked for you.
It did. It did. 10 years later, I'm flourishing in my business. And let me tell you, the other answer to when I persevered the most is every single day.
Probably, especially in those 2 years as you were building your business, it's like incredibly humbling.
It
I
is.
know, right?
Absolutely. You realize who you are in your core at that point. And then, you rebuild yourself knowing that piece of it, and knowing that you are okay and you'll make it through. It's huge. And it's a major factor when it comes to self-actualization.
Yeah. Well, and I found that, when I first started at the Women's Chamber, I think I told you that the chamber was struggling a bit. We really needed to find our new place.
Right.
And in order to find that place, I had to talk to a lot of people. I had to really put myself out there. I had to be vulnerable and say this organization is struggling. And, it's true though, because I was vulnerable and because I am who I am, I put myself out there.
Absolutely.
And I said, I need your advice. I need your help. I think I'm fighting for something good here. I believe in what I'm doing, but that's really, I think, when we started to turn and get more successful, because I was willing to put myself out there and I believed in what I was doing. And in your case, you have to believe in yourself, which is sometimes really hard for women. You know what I mean?
Sometimes really difficult. And sometimes there's a lot of self-doubt, and you have to forge through that and just look at yourself in the mirror and just know that you're doing the right thing for you and for your family, and just to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just realize who you are and keep going. And like you said, with the vulnerabilities, sometimes, and I think more time, I think we're afraid of that, but really that's what allows people to see us as human beings and as people, and let people in. I can't tell you how many times I'm insurance agent / psychologist /
Yeah.
So
but that's true. Like, we want to know each other intimately.
Absolutely.
Right? It's important.
So
And that's how
important.
you maintain loyalty in business too.
Absolutely.
And especially right now, like it must be so hard to get new business, right? I mean,
It's,
I know it is for us, like
yeah.
nobody wants to do another Zoom call or whatever. So I just am trying to connect just over friendships.
Sure, sure. And it helps, and I appreciate being a member of the women's, Colorado Women's Chamber. So
Yeah.
it's I'm surrounded by positive women, and we uplift each other, and it's so encouraging.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. Well, then quickly tell us a mantra that you live by that will help others.
I think this is my favorite.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay, so and everybody who knows me knows this because I say it all the time, sometimes daily, but I always say it's half of what you know. And so what is my mantra now? So when I say half the battle is knowing, the other half is execution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you know, then you know what you're dealing with. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and that
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of going in blind a little bit. But half the battle is knowing, the rest is execution. If I know what I have to face, then now I can kind of formulate a plan to then execute.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of something that women sometimes struggle with, right? Like, first of all, they don't recognize that they actually know what they
Mm-hmm.
know,
Sure.
right? And so because of that, they don't execute, they don't try,
Right.
they don't put themselves out there. So it's
Right.
a really good mantra to say, only half is what you know, and you probably know it. So just
Yep.
do it.
Just
You
do it.
know?
Just do it. Absolutely. Once I know I have to start my own business, now how do I do it? You
Right.
know, once I know I have to reinvent myself, okay, now I can
Yeah.
formulate a plan.
Right. Right. And just do it. I
Just do
love that mantra. Well,
it.
Lynette, thank you so much. I love chatting with you
Yep.
always. And thank you for sharing what you're sharing with our
Thank you for
members. And,
having me.
we have a business development group that does sort of like, I love how you did the business to business, like you went to a business to build your own business.
Sure.
I would love for you to be able to share with our
I'm
members
there.
right now. So I'll reach out to you and get you to
Absolutely.
speak
I'm
to that
there.
group because we're all trying to be creative right now. And
Mhm.
you have so much great experience. So I'd love for them to hear from you.
We learn from each other.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynette.
You're welcome. Thank you, hon. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.